What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Los Angeles Lakers got absolutely ran through by the Indiana Pacers. They ended their five-game win streak, dropped back down to 8 games over 500, still the ninth seed. Unfortunate, it sucks because not only did the Phoenix Suns lose, but so did the Sacramento Kings. We would have gotten a full game on both of those teams, which would have been massive for us to get into that seventh and eighth spot. But look, nonetheless, losses are going to happen. It's just one, how do they bounce back? And two, how many losses are there along the way? This was a game that personally I had in the loss column for the Lakers. Talked about it heavily that I thought the Milwaukee Bucks game, which the Lakers ended up pulling off and winning, the Indiana Pacers game, and then one of the Cavs or the Timberwolves game would be games that we would lose. So far, I'm 1-1. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. But to me, again, how do you respond? How do you bounce back? Do you go on another 3-game, 5-game win streak and all of a sudden everything's right and all is good? Or do they start to crumble a little bit? We're going to find out as we proceed and move forward. But to me, this is just a game that you brush off. You just say, you know what? You wash your hands of it. It was a rough night for everybody. Right? Nobody outside of Anthony Davis and Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura was solid for what they gave him. He only had what he had to work with, right? But everyone else basically was atrocious. I mean, LeBron was not very good. He only had 16 points and he had 5 turnovers and was just an absolute mess. Austin Reaves, he had his struggles. The inconsistencies on the offensive side have been a concern. I've been very critical in that regard, although I have praised him lately for his defense. He's been much better defensively the last few weeks or so. I really like what I'm seeing on the defensive side. But again, this is just one of those games that you just, put in the rearview mirror, you look ahead, you move forward, and you bounce back in the next game. But one of the big things is D'Angelo Russell, right? D'Angelo Russell, in my opinion, this was the worst game he's had this year as a Laker. It might be his worst game, period, as a Laker. But definitely, without tretching through every single game, this one was one that he definitely would probably like to have back or just completely forget about. Again, how does he respond? How does he bounce back? Right? I see a lot of people that are just going in on D'Lo and blaming D'Lo oh, here he is, the guy has been spectacular. I mean, ridiculously good the entire season. Did he just have a terrible, atrocious game? Absolutely. Right? No doubt about it. He was very bad. But one game is going to erase everything he's done this season? Stop. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. Right? I know people are why do but you criticize Austin Reaves so much this year because of the lack of consistency. D'Angelo Russell's been extremely consistent this year. D'Angelo Russell just came off the previous handful of games and was torching teams. I mean, dating back to not the more recent Bucks game, but the previous one when he gave 44. He dropped 44 and everyone was acting like he's prime Michael Jordan. Now he has a bad game, which guys have bad games. LeBron had a bad game this game. Everybody had a bad. It wasn't like this was a game where everyone played great and D'Lo didn't show up and the Lakers lost. Lakers didn't lose this game because of D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo could have went off for 30 and they still probably would have lost this game. Because LeBron and Reaves and Dinwiddie and everyone else was just bad. Right? But to me, I can't. It's what do you do consistently? The reason I'm so critical of Austin Reaves is because Austin Reaves has been consistently inconsistent all season. And whatever it is, right? The mileage, people come up with all the excuses why Austin Reaves isn't, prime Michael Jordan. Okay, whatever it is. All we have is the information to go off of right now. And right now, Austin Reaves he hasn't been what we expected him to be this year. And go back and watch the old videos. The videos that I made about Austin Reaves going in the offseason, I was heralding him like he was the second coming. This dude, I had such high expectations. I talked about how I thought he was going to be an all-star level player this year. I could see him getting to maybe 20 to 25 points per game. I talked about Austin Reaves like he was the pinnacle of basketball. And he hasn't been this year. And I have to be fair. I can criticize Austin Reaves without it being hate, like people like to point and go, oh, you're just hating. No, to this day, no one's proven anything that I've said as inaccurate or wrong. Because it's not. I'm not just making stuff up. I'm talking on the actual season he's having, right? I can criticize and have criticized LeBron James, Anthony Davis. I've gone down the list. I've criticized pretty much everybody from front to back this season. But I've also defended everybody. I've had moments where I've defended Austin Reaves this year. I've had moments where I've even defended Darvin Ham this year, right? In certain scenarios, in certain situations, right? When it calls for defending, I'll defend. But when it calls for criticism, I have to criticize. D'Angelo Russell this game absolutely deserves criticism. Without a doubt. He was terrible. Couldn't find the bottom of the bucket to save his life. Just looked kind of lackadaisical out there. Didn't look like he was a guy that really wanted to play today. Multiple guys were like that today. But it's the consistency, right? Like, if D'Angelo Russell was consistently having bad games, then I would consistently criticize D'Angelo Russell, right? If Austin Reaves played the way that D'Angelo Russell played this year, and he was a clear-cut third guy and was just spectacular, then I wouldn't be criticizing him. I'd be criticizing D'Angelo Russell if D'Angelo Russell was playing the way Austin Reaves has played this year, right? And I know a lot of people talk about, oh, well, the playoffs, D'Lo in the playoffs. People are talking about D'Lo in the playoffs like they know for a fact he's going to be terrible, right? And they hold the Denver series towards D'Lo. We didn't lose that series because of D'Angelo Russell. We lost that series because, one, the Denver Nuggets are just better, right? We haven't beaten them once in the regular season. Is that because of D'Angelo Russell also? No, maybe they're just better. It sucks to say. I hate it, but it's the reality. They're just better. That doesn't mean that we can't beat them. It just means that right now we haven't figured it out. And where was everyone else in that series? Austin Reaves in that playoff series against Denver, spectacular. A1. He was our best player and arguably our most consistent player that entire series. That dude was ridiculous that series. Excellent, right? But he had his struggles in the Warriors series. Who was good in the Warriors series? D'Lo. The Grizzlies series, D'Angelo Russell completely saved us in that series. And so many people are like, oh, well, the Denver series was the most important. Like, why? So you don't even get to Denver if it wasn't for the Grizzlies series and the Warriors series. You don't even get to the Warriors series if it wasn't for the Grizzlies series. You don't even get to the Denver series if it wasn't for the Warriors series. Every one of those series were equally as important, right? And every one of those series, outside of the Denver series, guys showed up. Guys played. I mean, Lonnie Walker was the hero in one of those Warrior games, right? Guys played and showed up game in and game out. Austin Reaves had like that first 3-game stretch in the Warrior series where he was just like, dude, we need to get this guy off the court. And people were jumping the gun. Oh, he's trash. Look, it was just against Memphis and all that stuff. And go back and watch those videos. I defended Austin Reaves. I said, give him time. He's got to adjust. It happens. Guys hit little streaks. I was defending Austin Reaves like crazy. Guess what? He turned it around and he was spectacular. Right? I don't know what D'Lo's going to be like in the playoffs because we're not in the playoffs. I don't know what Austin Reaves is going to be in the playoffs. So many people are so quick to go, oh, Austin Reaves is going to be great. D'Lo's going to be terrible. How do we know that? We have one sample size of Austin Reaves in the playoffs. One. It's not like he's been, 3, 4, 5 years of him in the playoffs doing the same thing. We have more of a sample size of D'Lo being good in the playoffs than we do Austin Reaves. D'Lo's actually led a team by himself to the playoffs, where he was the main guy and was great in that series. So again, Austin Reaves could be spectacular in the playoffs. And I want him to be. I just don't understand trying to tear, and wanting guys. It's almost like people root for D'Lo to be bad and are just waiting for the moment. Here it is. D'Lo is terrible now. I don't get it. I don't get why we are so quick to want a player that's on our team to be terrible. Like to just go point and go, we're right. I was right. Look, D'Lo's bad. Because if he's bad, that means the Lakers are going to be bad. Right? We're 1-5 when D'Lo doesn't play. You don't think that D'Lo's important? Literally, we're 1-5 without D'Angelo Russell. Right? The one game we won was when Spencer Dinwiddie went off. If we didn't have Spencer Dinwiddie, we'd probably be 0-5 or 0-6, whatever. Right? Like, D'Lo is extremely important to this team. And he's been by far our third best player this year. Right? Again, I don't know what he's going to be like in the playoffs. Maybe he's terrible. And if he's terrible, guess what? I'll criticize him and we'll talk about it. If he's brilliant, then I'll praise him and we'll talk about it. Same thing with Austin Reeves. Same thing with LeBron. Same thing with all of them. I've criticized pretty much every player on this team at some point this year. Again, I have videos for all of it. There's been at least a point all season where I've criticized pretty much everybody. Right? Like, because when they deserve it, they deserve it. Right? But D'Lo's been so good this year. I mean, he's literally having the best season of his career. He's literally setting Laker records. Like, he's doing everything. He's playing on ball, off ball, even though he should just be the primary ball handler. Like, there's times where it just looks like the Lakers don't even know what to do with him out there. Like, and he's still figuring it out and adjusting and making it work. Like, if you were ever going to praise D'Angelo Russell, it's right now. He was terrible in that game. Absolutely. Let's talk about it. He was bad. Without a doubt. Again, in my opinion, worst game of his Laker career. I mean, it was just bad. It was a very bad game on both sides of the basketball. But I'm not going to go super hard in on him when it's one game. Like, the guy has been spectacular, game in and game out. He's not a superstar. He's not LeBron. He's not Anthony Davis. Yet he's played about as good as anyone could ask him to. And again, like, if he deserved a ton of criticism, believe me, I would be fine criticizing. I mean, again, I have the catalog. I have the history of this channel. I have the history of As It Stands Lakers. Right? Go dig through those videos. I've made videos praising Austin Reeves. I mean, even still, the previous game, right? Austin Reeves shot poorly. I didn't come out and go, he's trash. No, I said, I'd like him to be a little more consistent on the offensive side, but he was excellent defensively. I didn't criticize. I praised him. I criticized briefly the lack of consistency on the offensive side, but I talked about how, man, he was still very good defensively. And then I went on a whole rant about how good Austin Reeves is defensively and his playmaking, and this is what we need from him, and I know he has it. I want Austin Reeves to be great. I want him to be great. I do. Because if he's great, then the Lakers are going to be great. Right? Like, I don't want Austin. I hate that I have to talk about Austin Reeves in a negative light, but he hasn't had it this year. He just hasn't been that guy. Whatever the reason is, maybe next year he'll be even better. Right? Maybe next year Austin Reeves will be the best player on the Lakers. Great. Let's do it. Perfect. Then he'll get all the praise in the world. I'll praise him like I have D'Angelo Russell this year. Because D'Lo's deserved the praise this year. D'Lo has been spectacular, game in and game out, lighting teams up, torching. Will he be good in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll find out when we get to the playoffs, if we get to the playoffs. And then Austin Reeves, will he be great in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll find out when we get to the playoffs, right? So to me, it's just like, it was just crazy how many like comments and things I got and saw of people just like, D'Lo, here he is, D'Lo's trash, D'Lo's this. And it's like, what are we talking? It's one game. Yeah, was he bad? Yes. He was terrible. If he plays like this the next 3 games, then we need to really have a conversation. And believe me, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that without a doubt. But all of a sudden, let's say he goes off for 30 next game. Everybody's going to, then what? Pretend like they weren't just talking about D'Lo's trash? Like, again, like it's the pendulum swing. Talk about it all the time. Got to let cooler heads prevail. Does he deserve criticism? Sure, criticize him. Go ahead. He was bad, right? But to go, oh, like here we go, and like try to erase what he's done all season because of one bad game, I don't know. That's crazy to me. And I know it's not everybody. I know it's not, I mean, even the majority might not even do that. But, it's always the loudest voices that are heard, right? So, it's just something that I just have seen. And we're talking about, and even in the live streams and stuff like that, I saw a lot of people in the streams that were just like, oh, D'Lo, he's this, he's that. And it's like, dude, what are we talking about here? Like, it's one game, right? And a game that I think was pretty expected for them to lose. Again, what's the bounce back look like? I expect them to bounce back. If they bounce back, all will be good. D'Lo bounces back, all will be good. But my thing is like, let's let things play out. That's my only thing. But anyway, my rant is over, and I appreciate y'all regardless. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I love to hear it. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts on D'Lo. Let me know your thoughts on Reeves. Let me know your thoughts on D'Lo and Reeves. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, right? As always, this is a discussion. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, right? At the end of the day, like I always say, whether we agree or we disagree, we're all want the same goal, right? Which is the Lakers to be good. We want the Lakers to win, right? And I understand the frustrations. I understand, the immediate reaction. I understand that, people want somebody to blame and whatnot. I get it. I love the passion. It's about the passion, right? I get people are passionate, but my thing is like, you gotta let cooler heads prevail sometimes. I love seeing the passion. I love seeing, fans. I mean, that's what makes Laker fans so special, right? But let's not just go after somebody for one bad game. That's my only thing. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8 games, then sure, let's talk about it. But this was a bad game from D'Lo. This was terrible. Need him to bounce back, so bounce back. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.